This can be done the easy way, or this can be done the very hard way. And the hard way is going to be a lot more negative for Delilah than if you just bring her to court and let her be taken back by Dad. Okay? Ms. Freiner, I'm really trying to work with you. I know you don't believe me, but I am. Okay? So I need you bring the child to court, because otherwise the next step is going to be officers showing up at your house and dragging her out of the house. And I don't think you want that, and I don't think I want that. That's why I've been trying very hard for this to be done in a way that's peaceful.
Delilah does not want to go. What do you want me to do? She won't get in the car. She won't go. She doesn't want to go there. She's depressed there. She's suicidal there. She doesn't like it there. She doesn't want to be there.
Ma'am, then what I need you to do is when the police show up to exchange custody, I need you to let them in. That's what I need you to do. If she won't get in the car and you're telling the court that you can't make her, then I need you to open the door when the police are there to exchange custody so that the police can take her out and bring her to Dad.
Okay. Thank you for joining us back here on Just Conspiracy, where we wish to conspire to create a better world. And that's what this video is going to be about. We're going to listen to Angela's testimony, and then I'm going to talk about some things for a moment. But I got some ideas for some solutions. Hopefully people stick around, pass it around, like, and join us over on the Telegram channel, so you can post up audio if you decide to call down to the Supreme Court or call these people in positions of power and ask them, where's the law at? Have you found the law for me yet? Y'all gonna do something about that judicial problem you got down in Missouri? St. Louis style? Anyways, thanks for coming out and joining us. Stick around, we got a good show coming up. Okay, well, thank you for joining us back here today. Today, we are going to listen to Angel's testimony. And we started off on Easter Sunday with her daughter's testimony. And then, of course, we saw the cops at Angel's house. And then we heard Angel and myself kind of conspire on how to take some sort of action to make sure that Angel gets her angel back, her little daughter back. So today we are going to listen to Angel's testimony. I mean Angela Freiner for sure. But we're going to listen to her testimony from court. Let's see what's going on here.
So, Ms. Freiner, are you prepared to testify?
Yes.
And we already put her under oath, correct?
Yes.
Okay. So you're still under oath. That's right, because we actually you stated your name for the record. Okay. You may proceed to testify.
Okay. I just want to say that Delilah doesn't want to live with her dad. It's obvious. She's been crying out. She don't want to be there. She's made statements that never will be her home. She doesn't want to live there. And James is not I don't think he's listening to what she wants. She is stable here. She's comfortable here. We're close. We have a great relationship, better than most kids our age. And James does have the physical abuse going on in his home. The chainsaw thing is a true statement. I have audio that you can hear him and his wife speaking of that. Lord.
Your Honor, before she plays, I will still put my objection that the local rules say she's supposed to transfer. I understand Your Honor's position, but I want to put that on the record.
Thank you. Are you playing an audio? Is that what you're doing, Ms. Freiner?
Yeah, I have another audio where James is screaming with his wife about a chainsaw that he had put to her neck.
Judge, I again object. None of this came in as you had ordered by 5 o'clock yesterday. This is assuming that's not in evidence. This is hearsay, lack of fact, and all of the heard. And I see Your Honor listening to it and taking notes, as you did with the last one. Once it's done, it's out there. It's hard to unring that bell. I strongly object to anything coming in that hasn't a proper foundation. These alleged events.
It is a proper foundation. I want to show what kind of environment that they won't put my daughter in.
Hold on, everybody. Ms. Shaw, finish your objection.
Thank you. Lack of foundation, hearsay, contrary to the local rule, as the guardian ad litem says, and contrary to this court's pretrial order about which Ms. Freiner was completely aware. And Ms. Freiner is held to the same standards, Your Honor, as I or any other licensed attorney would be. And once these are played without a foundation, they're out there. And I object to any audio for those reasons.
I don't.
It does have foundation. Oh, I'm sorry. I don't know how this completely works.
No, okay. Tell me why you think it has foundation. You can respond.
Because it's a true statement. It's an environment, and it's what's in the best interest of Delilah. If it's in her best interest, if this is there, and if we're aware of it, then we can do something about it. Either get James some anger management help. I don't want to take his relationship away with his daughter. I'm not trying to do that. I'm not the one that brought us into court today. So it has foundation.
Ms. Freiner, while an audio like what you're describing may be relevant, I don't think you can lay a foundation for an audio because I can't imagine that you were there taping it, were you?
No, the stepdaughter, when she left to go to the safe house, it was the last day she was in the home. We've talked about the safe house. This has plenty of reason to be in there.
The court finds that there's no way to authenticate this alleged audio because if you were not there to record
it's actually a video.
Same thing. If you were not the one taking it, I don't think you can meet the threshold of you yourself. So while you might be able to get it in a different way, you certainly cannot get it in during your direct testimony.
Okay, understood.
All right, let's talk about a couple of things that went on right there for a moment. So, Judy's attorney is all like, I object. Once you unpack it, it's kind of hard to put back into the box. Once you let the cat out of the bag, once you let the skunk out of the bag, you can't tell people they didn't smell it. That's one thing. So they absolutely know that this evidence would be horrible for Judy and his case. And of course Nicole knows that too. And what does Nicole say? She says, well, if you weren't there, if you didn't make it, if you don't have first-hand knowledge, then you can't introduce it. Well, that's really interesting because they both talk about this alleged audio. Why do they say that? Because nobody with first-hand information can place it upon the record of the court as a fact. So let me get this straight, Nicole. You mean that when you care to know the law, when the law is convenient for you, you know it, right? You know it, little miss thing. But when it's inconvenient for you, like when the po-po are out at Angela's door with an unverified court order.
Once we're able to verify that, it's still going to be a standing issue, a court-ordered issue. So
then the law doesn't matter about being authentic, Or let me come up with another one. Let me come up with a good one. Oh, yeah, like when you get trumped up charges on Angel.
The next step is going to be officers showing up at your house and dragging her out of the house.
For harassing you.
Dragging her out of the house.
And tampering with the judicial officer, I guess then it doesn't really matter if the law applies either. Huh. Because you just don't care in those situations. That's why you had somebody unauthenticate your email. That's why you didn't go into court yourself and authenticate the fact that she sent you that email. But you had her arrested anyways. And you think that that's a lawful court order process? And here's the problem. Here's the problem with people not knowing the very basics of laws, because, you know, one thing is that because people don't know the very basics of law, they don't understand when an order is not verified. When they get arrested, that they can require an accuser instead of an allegation. Okay? So that's one problem. Now, the other problem with people not kind of knowing the simple basics of law is that Angela, our little angel here, couldn't get her evidence placed upon the record of the court. And why couldn't she do that? Because she didn't know the rules. She didn't know the rules. And of course, Nicole uses the rule of hearsay, first-hand information, but of course they were talking about local rules too. They were talking about administrative rules for how they proceed with family court. Well, how is Angela supposed to know all of that stuff? Okay, let me break something down here to you. When you're pro se, because I hear a lot of people talk about pro se, that basically means that you can represent yourself. See, they quit allowing you to prosecute, so now they just call it pro se. You can pro se at court. Well, whatever. Hey, look, I'm a man. I'm here to present my case, my cause, my action. You got a court of law or not. That's all I care about. So, but when you're pro se and you say that you're representing yourself, and for the life of me, I can't understand how somebody could represent themselves. I completely understand how I could represent a government fiction that was created for me, like a driver's license, or I could represent another government fiction that was created for me, like a social security number. But for the life of me, and if somebody can please tell me how to do this, I can't figure out how to represent myself. I'm present. Does the court wish that I leave and come back wrapped up in a bow? I don't know. I don't know. It seems kind of crazy to me. So, but when you're there as a man and you're presenting your cause instead of representing your person, you can play by a completely different set of rules. Because obviously the average man and woman do not know these rules. Now, I know that our little angel, Angela, is going to take a minute here because she's shuffling around looking for some papers or something. I don't know. But during that time, I'm going to play one of the audios that she had for the evidence, on the screen. So, just so you know. Now, let's continue.
The next one is about how Delilah just doesn't want to live there. I have another audio of a conversation with her and I talking about how she doesn't want to live there and how she don't feel they've listened and the things that are going on and the way he has made her feel in the last few years.
Okay.
Your Honor, I would object to that because she's already testified, and what she testified to is what she testified to. Therefore, it also doesn't follow the local rule as a transfer.
This morning. Sorry, when she testified this morning.
Yeah. The court's gonna decline to allow the playing of that audio for the reason that the GAL objected to. The child has provided directly to the court the child's testimony and position, and so additional evidence along those lines are not needed at this time. Okay, Ms. Freiner?
Okay. Yeah, it was what she said this morning. Is that what you're in reference to, the testimony?
Yes.
I'm not she said this morning. I'm just stating that she testified this morning.
She's provided her positions to the court. That's all I'm saying.
Okay.
And of course, what they're really saying is that she testified for herself. They have first-hand information from somebody who has had the experience. And So it doesn't matter what recording she has. It doesn't hold as much weight as the daughter's testimony. But I'd just like for you to keep in mind that it was so important to Angela, she thought that that was one of her best pieces of evidence. And obviously the court didn't care about Delilah's testimony so much, or the daughter's testimony.
Let's talk about all you putting a chainsaw to my fucking throat. Let's talk about that.
Oh, if I put a chainsaw in your throat, I think you would have been dead. You're going to be a psycho.
No, James, it was when we were camping and Brian and Brittany were there and they fucking made you leave. So remember
Kind of just threw that one to the cops.
He has not done a lot of what he says. It's not the way he tries to make it out. He's got no evidence that buying a home is a bad environment. I don't know what else I'm supposed to fight for. I really don't want to fight. I don't want to knock James down just to try to build myself up as a better parent. We're both are parents. So to knock him down would be just the opposite of why we're here today talking. Like, I just can't do it. It's her dad. She loves him. She'll always love him. It's the only one she gets. I don't know about the court rules. I don't know. I'm not in the court system. I'm just here defending my daughter, trying to do what's best for her.
So the court,
I really don't have.
here's what the court wants to hear. The court wants to make sure that you have had an opportunity to present your position on why father's request for the child to relocate is inappropriate. So if you've got reasons that you want to present, I want to make sure that you've done that.
Okay, let me break this down for you real quick, because I think this is pretty important. Our little angel, Angela, doesn't really know what to do. So what does she do? I don't know what to do, because I don't know y'all's rules. I don't know your game. Look, I'm just a woman, a simple woman who cares about my little woman in training. Okay? And I know that this is awful, what she's going through, my little woman in training. So I'm here to act like an adult. I don't have any conflict. I'm not trying to talk crap about this man over here. Okay? I'm not trying to knock him down. I'm not trying to make him look bad. I just wish for the best interest of my little woman in training. And what does Nicole do immediately? She says, well, all the court really cares about is, have you had your right to be heard? Because that's an element in law that I have to satisfy. Do you feel like you've had your right to be heard? Now, if I were this little angel that we're talking about, Angela, I would have said, no, you haven't let me put anything on the record. Of course I have not been heard. But I just think it's really interesting that the only thing Nicole cares about is satisfying her element in law. That should just show you how much she cares about this little woman in training and what her life is actually going to be like.
Yeah, that's what I know, but there's so many rules, and it's a hoop, and I don't know the game, the jump. I don't know how to do it. So this is how I know how to talk, and I talk from my heart. And I don't want my daughter leaving. I feel like I've presented myself fair. I think the little bit of audio that I did play was enough to know that there's something going on, like there's issues there, and it may be coming from both ends. But if he wants to take her from me this way, then let him be the bigger man and win the game. I'm just done playing it. I'm done. It's up to you guys.
Now it's up to you guys.
Is there any evidence that you'd like to present on education or anything like that?
She has very good grades, except for a couple of failing grades, but she suffered when my mom died, and she was hurt because he wouldn't let her come home. He thinks that I'm just playing games, lying, and trying to be like this poor mom, all messed up on drugs, don't know what's going on around me. I was mourning my mother's death through most of what he's talking about. So, and then he didn't allow her to come home for the funeral. She didn't have closure. I didn't have closure. We've struggled. So yeah, her grades had went on a little slope, but they've come back up. She's happy. She's healthy. She's fed. She's dressed. She's got friends. She's been bugged. She does cheerleading. She's excited about going to high school, and she loves her dad. She just wants him to stop. She just wants him to drop his ego and be a dad and accept it. That she didn't get on a plane one summer. I had to accept that he didn't allow her to my mother's funeral because of a freaking court order, a parenting plan that stopped her from getting closure to my mom's death. She was extremely close to my mother. Extremely close. And James knows that. He knows she was close. It was like she loved her. She spent all kinds of time with her. So if James wants to fight and win and be the bigger man and take her, then he's the bigger man with more money.
Okay. Anything further for your direct testimony?
No.
Okay.
Did you hear that? Now, I'm pretty sure that any normal, sane individual like you or I could have listened to Angel, our little Angel's testimony, and known right off the bat who the little woman in training would be better off with. And probably the one that acts more like an adult and says, I'm not trying to fight. I'm not trying to knock each other down. I'm not trying to keep the little woman in training away from him. I just wish to do what's best. And what he's proposing is not best for sure. And look, you can tell just by the way Nicole was talking. All of them were ganging up on our little Angel. She's not an attorney. Let's throw all these rules at her that she doesn't know or understand. It's awful. It's awful. But I really do think that Angela is just an incredible woman, very strong, very good-hearted, going through all of this stuff. She has a lot of respect for me, that is for sure. But I hope that this testimony in this trial really gives you insight to how the family court works and what the processes are. And let me know if you were the jury, if you were judging this case. Hopefully you watched this all the way since the beginning of the story when we started on Easter with The View. And but let me know, what do you believe the judgment should be? How would you have judged this if it were your courtroom, if you were the one in charge? Leave that in the comments below. We are really interested. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for taking this journey with me through Angela's case. A lot of people have asked and talked about what we do about it. Okay, we see a lot of corruption. There's a lot of problems. Who has the answers? I'll tell you, you have the answer. People have changed society when it's got overly administrative in the past. They can do it again. But what it takes for people in society to actually stand up, talk about it, not put up with it. It takes people getting educated in what law is, what the rule of law is versus the rule of administration. It takes some of the stuff being kind of general knowledge and not just trade secrets kept by attorneys that they can just use against the public, because if you're not a member of the Bar Association, then you just don't know any of this stuff. But it's going to take work. Now, Angela and I are willing to do what we can do. We're going to file something with the Supreme Court. But I'm going to tell you right now, just like you heard the clerk from the Supreme Court say they might not file it, even if it moves in law, if it doesn't conform to their administrative procedures, their administrative rules. If you let them get away with that, I just wish for you to know you're taking away your own rights as well. Because if to get into a court and have any such thing as rights, if you have to learn all of their administrative rules and all of their procedures and, modes of proceeding, and it's just not that simple, then I would say you don't really have rights, you have privileges. If you have to pay somebody who knows to move through all of that jibber jabber, you don't have rights, you have privileges. Not everybody can afford to pay somebody else $200 to $1,400 an hour to go present their case in a court. So if that's what you have to do to be able to present a case before a court, that's not a court of law, and it doesn't have any rights in it. And again, it's like kind of about the case law that the Supreme Court had. It's very well recognized, time immemorial law, that your right to raise your children is more sacred than your right to property. So if they can just take away people's rights to raise their children, then you have no right to property. And so what we have to do is we have to start going at this a very different way. We have to start supporting each other. People like Angela, who didn't do anything wrong. We gotta quit being afraid. We gotta quit being afraid of this system that tries to keep us in fear. Somebody asked me one time, they said, aren't you afraid when you go into a courtroom? I was at one time. Do you want to know what I'm more afraid of? I'm more afraid of not doing it. I'm more afraid of how my little man in training is going to grow up and what kind of world he's going to live in if I don't do this right now. That's what I'm more afraid of. But of course, we all have different things that motivate us. We all get motivated for different reasons. And you don't have to help Angela out, and you can just watch these videos and stay entertained. If you sit on the sidelines, they're coming for you eventually. They're coming for you eventually. And that's why you can either join this conspiracy or you can pick a number and wait for them to do it to you. That's pretty much where we're at. Anyways, I hope the series about Angela has been very insightful and educational for everybody. And I hope y'all join us in this push to get Angela reunited with her daughter. And while we're doing it, we're going to go ahead and document it so that we can explain it to you, so that we can show you what law is, and you can learn what law isn't. Please join us. We are just conspiracy, and we just wish to conspire with other good people of this planet to leave a better world for future generations than the world we all grew up in. Right now, we wish to conspire to get Angela reunited with her daughter. Make sure the right thing happens for Dr. Epstein up in New York. And then start focusing on a lot of wrongs that we, together, can help make right. Join us. One world, love, and peace. I know that you're not one of the judiciaries, you're just the clerk. So, I guess, like, if Angela files something up there, y'all are going to do the proper duty and file it on her behalf, correct?
If we receive something from someone, we always look at it first to see if it is in compliance with the local court rules or with the Supreme Court rules. So we always do that with every filing. So, of course, we would do that.
Okay, well, what if it wasn't in compliance, it was just in compliance with the law? Would you file it then?
That's not my decision. That's the court's decision.
Okay, so the court can decline to allow you to file a document that's in law if it's outside of their rules?
That's the court's decision, not my decision, sir.
Okay, well, thank you very much, and you've been very helpful, and I'm sure we will talk again sometime soon.
Okay, thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. See? They don't know anything.